Welcome to the Girlfriend's Guide to Senior Living. I'm Gail Peacock.
And I'm Lori Williams.
And we are so happy you could join us. We're passionate about helping families navigate the senior living maze. Each episode, we will share with you our knowledge of senior living and help you to eliminate the uncertainties you face in the search for senior resources. Hey, girlfriends. Welcome. We're back. Today's topic is going to be how to create a fall-free summer. So let's talk about falls, baby. Let's talk about you and me.
She really wanted to sing. I have to indulge her and let her do these things, okay? So are you done? Did you get it all out of your system?
Good. I think that's a pretty good one. I'm just saying.
It's a good one. So
yes.
Yeah.
Our wonderful topic today, all seriousness, is fall prevention, which is a serious topic. And we have a wonderful special guest in our hearts today, the guru in her industry, and Lori is going to introduce our wonderful friend.
So our friend is Jacque Archer, and we have known Jacque for, I think over 10 years. We were trying to remember how long it had been, so I think it's like over 10 years. And Jacque works for Advanced Rehab Trust Home Health, and she's also a fall prevention coach. And so when we were talking about having someone come talk to us about falls and how to prevent them and what causes them and all that good stuff, Jacque was the first person that we just knew we had to call. So yay, Jacque.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me on today.
Thank you for joining us.
We are going to talk about lots of different facts, and that's kind of how we're going to kick it off. Jacque has some kind of interesting, fun facts that we're going to talk about falling, and then kind of get into the reasons that people fall. We're going to talk about how to prevent the falls, if possible, and then kind of signs to look at or look for as adult children, as we all are, on what to look for if we don't really know if our loved ones are falling, but we kind of see some signs. So that's kind of an overall, if you will. Did I hit them all?
You did
them all?
You did good.
So Jacque hit us off with some fun facts. Well, not really fun facts, but
they're not really fun.
Fall facts. We're going to say fall facts.
Fall facts.
Fall facts. So for your fall facts, every 11 seconds, an older adult is treated in the emergency room for a fall. Every 19 minutes, an older adult dies from a fall.
That's pretty shocking.
It is.
Yeah.
It's very shocking.
So while we're doing the show for about 20 minutes,
yeah,
somebody who didn't get the message is going to have a boo-boo and have a problem.
Yeah,
that's right. Falls result in more than 2.8 million injuries treated in the emergency department annually, including 800,000 hospitalizations or more and 27,000 deaths.
That's a game changer for a senior to fall, and we always talk about that, but that's a game changer. You break a hip, so this is all good info.
Yes, exactly. And if, a lot of times when the senior breaks a hip, they end up going to the hospital, having surgery, then they go to a rehab, and then they end up going back home. And in that whole time, you're talking a good 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Yes, and their morale goes because they're out of sorts, if you will. They're in a new environment. They can be subject to different, infections and all that kind
pneumonia.
of stuff.
We talked about that earlier.
Then
they're going to lose their confidence a lot of times and are afraid they're going to fall. We're going to hit on all that, but those are some of the,
and sometimes going from place to place like that, then they get really confused also.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
Being out of your normal environment causes a lot of confusion and things also. So there's a lot of different things that can happen with.
And all those different medications or new medications that they're putting you on can also make you a little kooky and uneasy on your feet and all that. And so there's lots to go into this, and we're just going to kind of hit the surface. Obviously, as you guys are watching, if you have any questions that you're watching live, you want to throw to us, Miss Anna can send us the questions, and we'll do our best with our guru, Miss Jacque.
And we're live, so we'll answer them live. So
you got that right.
Yay.
So the first one that we're going to kind of hit on is reasons why people fall.
Yeah, and I was sharing with Gail and Jacque that this morning I ran into a senior friend of mine, and she was telling me about a fall she had. And so she's telling me how she's all bruised down her side, and I said, oh my goodness. I'm like, well, did you trip over something? What caused you to fall? And she said, no, I was just sitting on my couch watching TV. I stood up and I fell. So I thought, oh, well, we're talking about falls today, so how perfect I ran into you. So tell us, Jacque, what causes that?
It could be medication. It could have just been that she got up too fast and got a little bit lightheaded. One of the things that can prevent that is if she would tap her feet a few times before she goes to get up. May help. Her blood pressure might have bottomed out. So there's a lot of different things that can cause that. I would definitely make a trip to the doctor and find out what the causes of that happening to her.
So that's something, I mean, like any of us, we were talking about this, could stand up too fast and kind of have like head rush and get dizzy.
Right.
But so that's a good, you'd mentioned that earlier, to just kind of like move our foot around, kind of get the blood circulating, before you stand up. So that's a good tip.
And something else that I think was kind of interesting about is when you do go to the doctor to explain, so what were you doing before this happened? Or what did you eat dinner last night? Like all those little, if you can replay it when it's fresh in your mind of what set you to fall, if you will, like the last, I don't know, 10 hours or whatever that would be, because I think that would be helpful too if you start to see a pattern if you notice.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely something you want to bring up to the doctor. And a lot of time, I think it's something that's overlooked. The doctor's looking more at the different disease processes that you have and trying to fix those, and not thinking about really what's going on at home, or if you've had a fall, or if you're a fall risk. But those are things to bring up at that doctor's appointment if you are unsteady and maybe need to get some physical therapy or need to get some additional help to prevent that fall.
Okay. We also talked about how a lot of seniors they love their throw rugs.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
Throw rugs are not a senior's best friend, and they are things that in that generation everybody had was a throw rug, but we find that more and more seniors do trip and fall over those throw rugs. If they absolutely need to have that throw rug, then they need to be taped down in some way, so they're not going to have that trip. I just had a patient last week that tripped over her throw rug, and she ended up throwing that throw rug out the back door as soon as she figured out that that's something that's going to be a big trip hazard to her.
Yeah.
It's like the hindrance that they don't even realize it can be so easily achieved to change it, and they wouldn't have the problem anymore, but they don't think, you know, they've always had that rug, you know what I mean, for 20 years sitting outside their front door, and so it's never been a problem before type thing. So,
well, and I think, Gail, you mentioned you had someone who fell on a magazine. Was that you that were saying? Or was that Jacque?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, they slipped on a magazine.
Yeah, I had a lady
slippery suckers.
Yes. I had a lady who was sitting in a recliner, and after she was done with her magazine, she just set them down next to her. She went to get up and to go do something, and tripped her, just set her foot right in the middle of that magazine and just slid right across the floor.
Oh my goodness.
And down she went. So we don't think about those little things sometimes. Sometimes it's the lighting in the house. And where a majority of the falls happen is in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And
we
they
talked
actually,
about that.
Yes, falling off the bathroom stool or in the shower.
Really?
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So
Again, slippery suckers.
Well, and then speaking of slippery, slippers. You mentioned like all those little slippers we love to get our
The grandma slippers,
that
you
they
know,
put their little foot in. That's not good.
Yeah, that's not very good for the grandmas to have. You really should have some type of a shoe that has a back on it, whether it's a strap or a back. Otherwise, you go to take a step backwards and you slide right out of those slippers.
Yeah, which also brings us to Jacque was telling us a story about a lady who was 100 years old and wore her heels to exercise class.
Yes, I teach exercise class at a couple different independent living communities in the area. The average age that I have is 85 in my class.
I love it.
Wow.
So our seniors are a lot more active nowadays. But yes, she was from New York. She was a ballroom dancer. And she just absolutely had to have these high heel shoes when she exercised. No matter how much we tried to convince her that good footwear
And she could do
was
it?
really what you needed.
I mean, she really, yes.
And
We do an hour-long class.
Yeah, and I remember the lady because she always had her hair, her
Better than
makeup,
me.
her like nice little Dillard's outfit on, and
Yes.
and her
Dillard's
heels.
outfit.
Yes, and the
Awesome.
heels.
Yeah, and her heels.
So are there other reasons why people fall? I mean, we talked about footwear. We kind of talked about just maybe getting up too fast. Is there...
Yeah, there are several reasons why someone can have a fall, and unfortunately, some people don't want to tell you when they have a fall because they're afraid if they tell you that they have a fall that we're automatically going to want to move them or put them in an assisted living or a nursing home. So a lot of times they don't want to tell you. But some of the things that can cause you to fall is your vision.
Yeah.
You know, if you're having vision issues, if you have cataracts, if you have Parkinson's, a lot of different diseases can there can be different complications with it that can make you fall. It can be just the way that the furniture is arranged in your house that just needs a little bit of modification, and that would prevent a fall.
And there's people out there, guys, that can come and help you with this. So you might not know that the extension cords, and we've done a show on all the kind of fall hazards, if you will. And so people don't realize it, or they're, again, so used to it that they don't even think that it could be a problem. And one that I just kind of want to mention was the medication, because we talked about change of medication.
Yes.
So we don't know that it's going to make our head goofier. It could take 3 days to get in your system before you start seeing those effects, side effects or whatever. So we want to be aware and share it with somebody if you're on new medication, so someone's not looking out for you, but
someone's aware that if you do fall, there was a reason for it.
Yes.
Right, it certainly can be because of medications. There's many different risk factors too that can cause falls. It can be difficulty with the balance. There could be some muscle weakness going on.
That was my dad. Yes.
They just got out of the hospital with a pneumonia. You know, it's going to take weeks and weeks for them to get back to full capacity. And sometimes when people get back home, they think they're just ready to go and start going again, and they don't realize how weak that they really are.
First, we were talking about earlier, people maybe after they've retired and maybe they're not doing anything in that initial phase, or just watching TV and they're losing muscle tone, and they try to get up and do things, and they've just kind of, lost that ability. So
staying active.
Yes, definitely.
So we're going to kind of move on so if there's reasons why people are falling, and we're going to try to hopefully minimize those, but if we can at all, how can we prevent people from falling? Which, we wish we had those talents, but how can we, what are some tips, if you will, that could
help at least.
Help.
And just like you guys said, exercise, getting out, doing different things, being social. Don't be afraid to leave the house. Sometimes people feel like, if I'm a little bit unsteady, now I can't leave the house anymore. I'm going to have a fall. And if I have a fall, then I'm going to have to go to a nursing home. I'm going to have to move. I'm going to, my kids are going to move in. They're afraid of all these things happening, which makes them afraid to tell anybody that they've had that fall also. But there's several things that they can do. Join your local YMCA. Do an exercise class there. The senior living communities have different classes and things.
And go to it.
Yes.
A lot. I mean, this is part of what you're paying for. So utilize the services, because really, I would say almost any, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the communities make classes to actually better all these different areas. Your mind, your exercise, your muscles, all that kind of stuff.
And their exercises, like their seated exercise. There's different, it doesn't mean, I think some people get kind of thrown by exercise, and they're like, I'm going to have to go do a full-on Jane Fonda aerobics kind of thing. And
stay tuned next time.
My leg warmers on. But it's not that. It's geared towards seniors.
Right, and a lot of them are chair exercises.
Oh, Jackie teaches some.
Yes,
she gives some exercises.
Yes.
She's like, let's get physical.
I need my head warmer or whatever thing.
Sweatband.
A sweatband to go with my leg warmers. I got all confused there.
How about
could be.
Oh my gosh, I can't even think. Aerobics, they are happening in the pool.
Oh yeah,
right. They are low impact on the joints.
That's the best.
That is the best for you.
Water aerobics, very, very good exercise. Also, reviewing your medications with your physician and telling them, I feel more dizzy now that I've changed this medication, or that you've added this medication. All of those different types of things will help. Don't be afraid to get out and go places with your family. You need to keep moving. The more sedentary that you get, the more muscle that you're going to lose, and then you're going to be afraid of falling, and then you're going to overcompensate and then have a fall.
Yeah, that's very important. And actually, can we kind of go a little segue on explain, like, Advanced Rehab Trust for home health. Jackie's company actually helped my father come into our home and their home, not my home.
Their home.
Please, Lord, yeah, they don't live with us. Anyway, love you. So, and about strength and physical therapy. So, kind of, can you just like touch on that a little bit? Just because I think that knowledge is really important.
Yes, I do. I work for a home health care company. It's Advanced Rehab Trust. We're in Denton County. What home health care can do for you? Home health care is paid for by Medicare. Medicare pays for home health care to come into the home at 100%, which is great. Our job is to keep you independent in that home. It's not to take that independence away.
Say that one more time.
Yeah,
That's right.
good stuff. Yeah.
People don't get that.
No.
Yes, we are there to let you maintain that independence.
And
We're not,
Medicare covers it.
Yes,
That's the other
No
part.
out-of-pocket
covers
money.
100%. Yes, and like I told you guys earlier too, people wait way too long to get on home health care or to do something and then expect to get back to 100%, and it doesn't happen. They need to, a lot sooner than later, get that help that they need. As far as what we do, we have a nurse that would come out and visit with you. If there's things going on with your medication, she talks to you, talks to your physician, tries to straighten those things out for you. The physical therapist would come out. We have an occupational therapist, a speech therapist. Those are all services that if you qualify for them, they are there for you.
And they come right to your home.
They come right to your home.
Or if you're in a community, independent
or the
living or
community.
assisted living. And it does have to be ordered by your doctor, though,
It
right?
does
You
have to
a
be ordered by the
doctor order.
physician. Yes, yes, and you do have to be what's called homebound. And homebound doesn't mean you have to be bedbound, but you do have to have a what's called a homebound status, which. For being homebound, you just can't be out going to the grocery store every day, and
Can you still be driving or not
you
really?
can drive,
Okay.
but you would need to drive like to
We're
church
limited.
to get
Okay.
your hair done or to a doctor's appointment.
A need base,
Yes,
if you
yeah.
will.
Yes, not
Okay.
not driving all over the
Just
country.
going to.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I know I have a lot of seniors who unfortunately have fallen and injured their hip.
And they can't get up?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Put a corner in her today.
50 cents.
So, but they end up, they have the surgery, they go to rehab, and then they go back home or to independent living or assisted living. And that's when it's so important to continue with that physical therapy to get them back to where they were, or as close to where they were before the fall. So that's where, you know, Jackie, that's where I met you actually.
That is, yes.
in the independent community helping seniors.
And we all worked together for a long time, and it would be interesting where we would help them get into the community, and then if we saw some tweaks of somebody or said they're coming from the hospital directly, then they can start that in their new home, which is the community or their home.
Right.
But Jackie's company would come in and be able to help them to be able to get their stamina back and kind of get back to where they were.
Right.
And I think people, at least from my family, is that they're more comfortable doing that in their home. So you're working with the rug that they walk onto the bathroom. You know what I mean? Like you have your rug and then you have your tile. So how do you maneuver that and all that? So they help you in your community, that whatever that would be that you
and
live
they
in.
probably also note like, okay, this is not good. This isn't
Oh, yes.
safe. So you
That's
do
exactly
that
what
sort
happens.
of thing.
Yes. Yeah, our physical therapist and occupational therapist are really good about doing the home inspection, looking around the home and making sure that they don't have that rug or they don't have the furniture in front of them that they're going to trip over.
Or
That
maybe
they
grab
have grab
bars.
bars in the bathroom. Maybe grab bars around the stool area so that they can get back up with. A lot of times at nighttime, people jump up from the bed and run into the bathroom, and you know they may tell them, "Hey, you might want to put a little nightlight in here that comes on as soon as you start walking past." So you know we're a little
Do you
disoriented sometimes at
find
nighttime.
I always hear that, and we've said this before on the show, that most falls happen at night when people are getting up to go to the bathroom. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay. Yeah.
Yes, I got a call about 3:00 in the morning one time that someone could hear somebody yelling, but they couldn't hear where they were coming from. And a lady above her happened to go to the bathroom, had a fall, and broke her hip. I was laying there on the floor.
no.
So we went over to check out and see what was going on, and we ended up finding her laying there on the floor. Said she'd been there for a couple hours, which would have been good to have one of those little
Falling and I
buttons.
can't get up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, to have one of those little buttons, and you know, had she maybe have had a little nightlight there, a little better lighting in there. She had a little step that she had to go over from the carpet to the tile in the bathroom. Sometimes the differences in the carpet and the tile can make people fall also.
I've fallen like that myself.
Yes.
I mean, you know what I want to say, but I'm not going to because I got scolded earlier, so I'm going to keep it to myself. But you all know when Lori's birthday it was recently, if you watch the show. So just work with me on this, people. Okay.
Someone's about to turn 50 right here. I don't know
we
who.
don't go there anymore. It's getting hot in here. So hot.
She's breaking into song again.
Sorry. Okay, so let's move on to this.
I have one more question.
Go for it.
And I always wonder this, but why are so many seniors resistant to using a cane or a walker? Why?
It's a pride thing for most all of them. It really is. It's mostly about the pride, but I tell them, name that walker. That's your new boyfriend. Name him, and then you'll remember to take him with you all the time.
Yeah,
and then it doesn't seem so bad.
You didn't want the boyfriend.
I know exactly.
Just kidding.
Like, hey, Mr. Walker. Maybe that's his name, Mr. Walker.
That's
Mr.
right,
Walker.
Mr. Walker.
There we go.
Like it.
Do a sidebar on that.
Mostly, it's a pride thing for people, but people do have to be trained on how to use that equipment. Also, you can't. I mean, you shouldn't just go to the store and just buy a walker because. There's a certain way that you should walk with your walker. It should be a certain height. Otherwise, your hands or your arms are going to be way up here in the air
or
like
you're,
this. Or you're bending over.
Yes.
Yes.
Do they I've seen some people say, they're kind of like pushing it on the ground. Are you supposed to kind of lift up a little bit at all? Or it depends on the walker,
It depends on the walker. You have the standard little silver walkers that you see some
with the
people.
tennis balls on the bottom of them?
With the slides.
Everyone's seen, the slides. Called them tennis balls.
Some have tennis balls on them.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. Some have tennis balls on them. Some have wheels on them. The rollators come with wheels. And
I like
it just
those,
depends on what is going on with the patient, on what type of a walker they're going to have. It's funny, I have a lot of people that like to use the walking canes, or almost like a hook you would see Moses with, the shepherd's hook.
Oh, really?
They like walking with those better because then they don't feel like they're walking with a assistive device.
Oh, that's interesting.
Really?
I have a tip for people. So my grandma was also fighting getting cane. So what my mom did was find my grandma's a very stylish lady. She likes the nice things in life. So my mom picked a specific one that she knew she was gonna love. So very fancy, very within her style, and she felt like it was a part of her when she got it. She was like, "Oh,
Jewelry.
I like this. I
More
like
like an
this."
accessory.
Yes, accessory, exactly.
That's a good idea.
When my dad started using a cane, his friend was making canes out of golf clubs. My dad's a huge golfer, and so he made it out of a golf club. So the actual handle part was the putter part or whatever. I don't golf, so I'm not gonna act like I know stuff. But and it was very stylish, as Anna's saying. It was more of a statement and a conversation piece. So it was something to be able to make a conversation with people, and not so much about, oh, you're old now, you need a cane. What's wrong with you? It was more like, oh, that's a cool looking cane, kind of.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that helps. Bridge that gap of uncomfortableness. So
yes, definitely.
Great point there, Anna.
Well, and I have a lot of people who decorate their walkers up, like for all the seasons.
I love with the basket, because
yes.
I do one day want a walker that I can just decorate.
Put your
I'm
ditties
going to
in there
have
and
lights
stuff.
at Christmas. I've seen some with that, with the little battery operated lights
or wreaths,
and.
Yes,
I
they put all kinds of different things on it now.
One of the communities, I think it's one of the ones you're at, that they did a Mardi Gras thing in a parade, and they all had them all decked out. It was so fun.
Yes.
Well, that's like their car, kind of.
Yes,
it is.
If you
It
will.
is like their new wheels.
Yeah,
Yes.
their new wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I would
awesome.
embrace it if I need one at some point.
Yeah.
I say now. When the time comes, I'll be like, no, I don't.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Lori, watch show number 2580 because guess what you said? Oh boy. Okay, so this one to me is really hitting home with our aging family, if you will, and working with communities all the time. So, what are there signs as adult children, as we all are, that we can be looking for? If we don't see mom every day, or maybe if we do see mom every day,
we just
mom
may
and
not
dad every
notice.
day.
Yeah.
What can we notice that maybe we can start that conversation, become aware, as we talk about our 3 A's. So what can we become aware of so that we can maybe have that conversation to have them open up to us?
You can ask, if you know that they've started on a new medication, ask them, is the new medication that you're on, are you having any problems with it? Some of the side effects, sometimes medications are a little bit of dizziness, unsteady gait. That's if you're walking a little different than what you normally walk. if you notice bruising on them, ask them where that bruising comes from. It can be from lots of different things. As we age, our skin gets a little bit thinner.
I love what you said earlier, though, where it's in the way that you say it, not accusatory. How did you say it? Like,
yeah,
give a good
it's
example.
definitely not what you say. It's going to be how you say it to them. If you come across that you're a little excited or upset
Attacking
about
or-
attacking
like
them
what
is
happened?
what maybe they feel like. What happened to you? And you're actually very concerned, and we're just excited about what happened, and you want to know. But to them, we're coming across like we're attacking them. So if you just say, "Hey, Mom, is something going on?" Or did you have a fall? Did you slip on something? It makes a big difference, and they're more likely to open up and tell you what's going on. They try to hide the fact that if they've had a fall, because they're afraid of what's going to happen if now I have a fall. Now,
What
they're going to
next?
think that that I
They're gonna
can't
put me in
take
a
care of
nursing home.
myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is
all
scary
those-
for all of us. Even if
It is.
we do something wrong. I drove kind of crazy the other day, and my kids are like, "Oh my God, Mom, should you be driving?" I'm like, "It's fine. I just didn't see him in my blind spot." But it makes no matter what your age, it makes people question to be like,
You don't want to put them on the defensive.
Yes.
Right.
Definitely.
And then if you have a husband and a wife where maybe the wife is taking care of the husband or vice versa, and you come in and you might say to them, "Oh my God, what happened, to Dad, or what happened to Mom?" Then that's going to make the caregiver feel like they're not doing a good job. So they're going to be on the defense also, and maybe not want to tell you next time that they've had a
Right.
fall.
Yeah, because they feel like you think they're not doing a good job, and they don't want to
Right.
feel like that. It's
Right.
sad.
Or if you
That is
see them
sad.
walking a little bit differently than what they normally are walking, or all of a sudden they pick up a cane and they don't usually walk with the cane, those are going to be telltale signs that something's happened, something's
Yeah.
going on.
Those are good points.
Something's
Really good
changed.
points.
without communication, we have to communicate. People tell us what's going on, which we are going to tell you what's going on. We're going to segue right into Lori's little doodly.
Yes. Okay, so, we're girlfriends on the go sometimes, so we are going to be coming to you live. Actually, you need to come visit us. We're not going to be live. Well, we'll probably go Facebook Live on the day, but come see us in person. There's still tickets available, but it's the Live, Laugh, and Learn by Celebration Magazine, and it's July 30th. You can just call them, Celebration Magazine, or go online. There are tickets still available, but not very many, and it's an incredible. You've been to it, right?
Yes, it's amazing at the Richardson Civic Center. I think it's what it's called.
Yeah, Richardson Civic Center.
It's awesome and great. Everybody has their the speaking engagements, and they have booths, so you can kind of get information. And they decorate cool.
Oh yeah, the decorations are going to be amazing. It's favorite movies. I think so. It's like
I hate decorating.
It's going to be really cool.
I just put that on the stream on Facebook.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So
yes, thank you.
We have a costume, so
come check us. This is all Lori speaking. I'm going to do it because I love her, but you know how much I love dressing up.
You came up with the idea.
Well, yeah.
I made her.
She held my arm behind my back.
Yeah, I may have done that. So, but it's going to be fun, and it's going to be geared towards senior and travel, and just it's going to be. Everything. It's going to be really fun. So come out
so we
see
have
us.
some other things coming up, so we can't spoil it right now.
Oh, yes.
But there's some other things that are going to be cooking, so we'll keep you up to date on those things as they happen, but we're sworn to secrecy right now.
Yep.
And as Lori, do your little wrap up because you're so good.
So always follow us on Facebook, Girlfriend's Guide to Senior Living, and please go to our YouTube channel, also Girlfriend's Guide to Senior Living, and subscribe. We need subscribers.
Yes.
We're learning more and more about how all this works. So go and subscribe, and
By
then you'll
my
never
nephew,
miss.
that's 10.
Yeah, we were schooled by a 10-year-old.
But it was all good. We were writing notes and everything. It was cool. But you have to subscribe because YouTube's where the world's at. And we look like just that we're a nobody. And you all know we're not.
Yeah, we need more subscribers. So
please love us like that.
Yes.
And we also want to say thank you to Miss Jackie.
Thank you so much,
You did a great
Jackie.
job.
And thank you to you two for doing this type of a show. I get so many people who are like, where do I get information at? And it's when they have a fall or they need that information right away is when they start really digging for it. But you guys have it out there to where people can start looking at these things and seeing your show and getting ideas of what to do when something happens.
Well, thank you.
So
And
thank you.
That's what we're trying to do. We want to educate you so you know, so you're not just thrown into this trying to figure out what to do on your own. So thank you for saying that, and thank you for being our guest.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in today. We hope you enjoyed this episode. As your girlfriends, we'd love to hear from you. Each episode will feature new questions. Don't keep it a secret. Share us with your friends. We're on Facebook, YouTube, podcast platforms, and even in your Alexa. See you.